Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today we'll be delving into one of the biggest shit stains I've ever seen in Kingdom Hearts, or more like video game history, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. You guys don't know this game, but once we're done, you will, and you'll regret it. Probably most likely. Anyway, the game is about cards. Not Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Just cards, used in a 3D plane, against bosses that make you want to slam the table because you can't move. Let me give you a quick rundown of some basics. As I said, there's cards. You can break enemy cards by using a higher number card. If you can't count, then you better leave, because counting is the forte in this game. You can get friend cards in Donald and Goofy, as well as summon cards like Cloud, who are OP as fuck. You are restricted to card combat, and enemies are bitches in this game. They will not hesitate to fuck your shit up. Spamming is your best friend if you're Riku. However, if you're Sora, reloading is how you will use your cards most effectively. Timing your reloads is really important in this game. You can also combine cards to create sleighs, which are powerful tools to kick ass, but as I will discuss later, you only need one sleigh to carry you through the whole game. Now that about covers it. There are 5 prime focuses in this video, but they're not good. They're bad features that I think are absolutely god-awful and stupid to incorporate inside a game like this. However, first we will discuss the reasons why I like this game. They're simple and quick because there isn't really that much to it. First, there's the introduction of Axel, and he's probably the most humorous character in the entirety of Kingdom Hearts. And I'm assuming he's most loved by a lot of people because he's the only character not spouting absolute nonsense the whole fucking game. And you're just waiting for him to pop onto the screen because he's the best character. Hands down. No cap. Then there's Riku's story. I felt like he had more of a balance with him in his story. His dual mechanic was interesting, while also proving a sort of challenge in the early game. And his dark mode provides an interesting twist to how you would play this game. Also, no reload times, or no hold reload, and also preset decks made it really easy and simple to slide right into. No needing to set up decks and all. However, later I would find the dual mechanic to be quite annoying and more just overpowered, and a cheese strat like Lethal Frame. Since Lethal Frame is less overpowered than dueling, I would suggest that Lethal Frame is more balanced than dueling. Dueling is not a bad mechanic, it's just implemented wrong into this game. Now I'll move on to the reasons why I hate this game with a deep fucking passion, and why I'm never coming back to this game. First, there's card selection. There's an array of cards to choose from. Magic, summon, item, and Keyblade cards. Not like it matters though, because Keyblade cards and one magic card called Stop are the most overpowered cards in the game, due to how cheap and efficient they are at just shredding bosses, especially the harder ones like Riku 4. No other cards matter due to how easy it is to cheese bosses with the Stop and Keyblade cards combined, forming the Slay Lethal Frame I was talking about earlier. Since it's more likely for people to stick to the cheap and cheesy combos like Lethal Frame and Arx Arcanum, it's really easy for them to play the game without changing their deck once. People will likely not experiment with other cards, which leaves a big hole in your design to have other cards. Next, there's bosses. There's 2 types of bosses. There's the Disney baby kind that are called RCGs, or random card generator bosses, and these guys won't make you break a single sweat. What I hate about this game is how Disney and Castle Oblivion bosses are 2 massive spikes in difficulty. Castle Oblivion bosses include Riku, Larxene, Axel, Vexen, and Marluxia. Let's just say, these guys are no fucking joke. For example, let's say you got off Destiny Isle and fought Darkseid, one of the easier bosses in the game, and then you move on to fight Riku 4, one of the hardest bosses in the game, due to how absurd and fucking stupid he is. The spike in between the Disney world and the Castle Oblivion world is way too massive, and is almost unfair, unprecedented. This brings me to my next point, how much I fucking hate Riku 4. This boss is absolutely retarded. First of all, he's deemed Riku 4 because you have to fight him 4 separate times, on 4 different occasions. 3 and 4 is probably the hardest, but until you learn about Lethal Frame, it's not that difficult. You also have to fight Riku, a clone of Riku, in Riku's story mode, and it's annoying there as well, even with the mechanics that Riku has. You might ask, why is he so obnoxious? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First, he has a stun lock mechanic, and he easily puts you in combos that are unescapable. You cannot break these combos, and you can also not interact with your cards. You cannot switch, you cannot heal, you cannot do anything. He's able to constantly attack you and deal massive amounts of damage with no way to escape, while he is able to easily card break you before you even get to cast your attack. He also is really fast, and he spews out cards insanely fast. The only time you ever get a breather is when he emits his shockwave attack, which keeps him in a pause frame where he sits there for 3 seconds, allowing you to heal, break his card, reload, or use a gray card. This is probably the worst fight in the game until you realize lethal frame is a thing, and then it becomes absolutely easy. Of course, cheesing bosses takes no skill, but this game also takes no skill. As I mentioned before, battles are initiated in a main overworld. You have a map with room layouts. You can also interact with objects that have a reticle on them. The problem, however, is not the map room layouts, but more the fights needed in order to grind within these map layouts. The fights themselves pose no issues, until you realize you need to build 2 separate decks, a farming deck and a boss deck. These cards are usually grinded for and require the use of a Mughal Shop. The Mughal Shop is all chance and RNG. You usually get a free card pack, which is usually Keyblades or Magic cards, and you have to buy packs in bulk. Usually Keyblade or Magic cards because they are the best. You also have to pray that you pull a high-level card of the card that you're looking for, or it's back to the grinding stone. And have a good time fucking farming, because you're gonna be there a goddamn while. Finally, I feel like the story is a mixed bag. You have funny moments like Axel, and then you have Sora, some fucking emo kid looking for his way out of this hellhole, where he's getting antagonized and absolutely ridiculed for having some fantasy with Riku and other characters. If you're not a massive Kingdom Hearts fan, I have 2 options for you. Skip this game and play Kingdom Hearts 2, because mostly they explain everything in the first 2 hours of gameplay. Or somehow get your hands on a GBA version, because that looked way better than whatever the fuck this game was. The card balance and the gameplay looked way more crisp and clean. Personally, I don't recommend this game, but I would say if you want to give it a shot, go ahead. It's also a good game to lose some brain cells to. I wanted to mention that Riku's story is, again, the most interesting, but Riku's story is way too late for anybody to keep interest. I found that playing Riku's story was very fun, but it came too late in my experience where I already knew what the game was like, and I wasn't too interested in playing Riku's story, or this game anymore in general with these mechanics. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.